Do you avoid doing money making actions because you are afraid of hearing the word no? It's the most dreaded word in business, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. No is not a dirty word. No is not a negative word. No is not the end of the road. So let's talk about what you can do to get over the word no so that you can make more money in your business. Let's dive in. Okay, so avoiding doing things because you don't want to hear no. You don't get on sales calls because you don't want to be rejected. You don't do DMs because you don't want to hear the word no. You don't necessarily apply for specific jobs because you're afraid that they're going to say no. No. No is a really powerful word that so many people are terrified of in business these days. And honestly, I can't understand why, because no is kind of my favorite word. I absolutely love hearing no because it's a challenge for me. I love seeing it as a challenge. And that comes from just growing up. And my dad was very specific about, well, if you hear no, it's just up for negotiation. I'm pretty sure my dad could have been a lawyer in another life because he was extremely good at turning a no into a yes. But he never let it hold him back. And he never let any of us, me or my two brothers, stop when we heard the word no. It was a negotiating point. Even when it came to parenting rules, if he said no, there was usually room for negotiation, which was wonderful. But no didn't have to be something that we feared. And I carry that into my business today. And I love teaching this point to moms because no can be so harsh. We say it to our kids all the time, no, you can't have cookies before dinner. No, you have to go take a bath because you can't go to bed covered in mud. No, you have to go finish this before you do. No is pretty big in our vocabulary as a mom, but we don't like hearing it in our business. Why is that? Why is that? It is not a life altering, it is not death defying, it is not something that should be the end all be all. Number one, when it comes to sales, right? This is where we hear no most often. When it comes to sales, you are not naturally born good at sales. I need you to hear that again. You are not naturally born good at sales. It is something that you have to learn. It is something that you have to work on every single day in your business. None of us are born just naturally good salespeople. We adapt and we learn and we grow into that position. We grow into that personality. Now, are there some that feel very natural? Are there some that are just really good at talking and just seemingly endlessly amazing at sales? Yes, there are going to be people like that. And that comes from lots and lots and lots and lots of practice, whether it was growing up and trying to get their way, or whether it was trying to get people to do what they needed them to do. Lots of practice went into that. My cousin is a phenomenal salesman. Not the best of persons, but he is a phenomenal salesman. He could talk you into buying anything. He absolutely missed his mark in the professional world because he is not a salesman, but he is the most phenomenal person that I have ever met. And I have met some pretty amazing people in my business journey, some really well paid people. But my cousin could sell you anything. He could sell you this non-working pen for whatever reason because he is just phenomenally good at it. But it comes from an entire childhood of trying to get what he wants in a way that's going to best benefit him and everyone around him. He grew up just trying to get his way all the time. And 9 times out of 10, he got it because he was able to finagle what worked best for him and for his parents. We didn't have that growing up because if we were like, hey, can we go do this? And it was either a yes or no. And if it was a no, we got to finagle a little bit. But, at the end of the day, it was either yes or no. With his parents, there was always wiggle room for negotiation. And that's what made him a really good salesperson. Now, if you're just like, sales scare me, I don't like them. There are tons of sales books out there. There's actually one, I think it's called GoPro. I love GoPro. It's older, but it was actually one of the very first business books that I read, and it had so many really good tidbits. So go check that out. I also like Failing Forward is another good one because it doesn't matter how many times you stop, no matter how many times you hit that roadblock, no matter how many no's you hear, you just got to keep going. And it's amazing. So when it comes to no, We're not naturally good at sales. We have to learn them. And the only way to learn them is to do them. You have to get on those sales calls. You have to get on those DMs. You have to do those reach outs. You have to talk to the people in your network so that you can move yourself forward. Practice, practice, practice. Number two, no doesn't mean you're not good or you're not good enough or you're not amazing or you're not the perfect person or you suck. Fill in the blank. No doesn't mean any of those things. No doesn't mean that you're never going to succeed in your business. If you're not hearing no, you're not talking to enough people. That's really what it comes down to. If you're not hearing no, you're not talking to enough people. When I first started in my business, almost 20 years ago, yeah, you heard that right. So when I first started in business almost 20 years ago, we used to hear, oh, you should be closing 75, 80, 90% of your sales calls, or 90% of the conversations that you get on should end in a client. You know what? That's a bunch of bull. It really, really is. Honestly, through my years, what I have learned is that 25 to 30% close rate is a really good close rate. It's actually a phenomenal close rate. When you look at the big, 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 big earners, if they're closing 75 to 90% of their calls, it just means they're not getting on enough calls. They're not having enough conversations. They're not having the people coming in who are kind of hesitant. And that's 90% of the people out there. They're kind of hesitant when they want to work with somebody because in the economy that we're in, people are far more like, really, maybe, I don't know. 25 to 30% of the conversations that you have should end in a yes. And that's a very small amount. That means almost 75% of the people that you talk to are going to be a no. It doesn't mean that you are not good enough. It means that you are having really good calls. It means that you are having really good DMs. And 9 times out of 10, let me let you in on a little secret, those no's aren't no forever. They're just no for right now. I had an amazing sales call back in January, and it was a no. It was just a flat out no. It was a money thing, and that's fine. I work with moms. I get it. I have been a mom the whole time. I get it. Money is something that you should be contemplating. And if somebody is bullying you into purchasing something, run, run. Little roadrunner emojis, run. Because as a mom, you need to be thinking about finances. And if you are not, I would think you crazy. But that amazing no from January turned into a please, 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 please come April. I have saved, I have worked, I have pinched, I've got my pennies. Please turned into a yes in April. And I'm still working with that person today in October. So no's are not an almighty definite, absolutely not. Actually, one of my favorite clients was a no up front. And when she finally turned into a yes, she has literally been my client since then, continuously. A number of my favorite clients were no's right out the gate. No's or not right nows. It doesn't mean I wasn't good at what I did. Doesn't mean that I'm not good enough to do what I did. It's just that no is sometimes the first thing that we jump to because it's our safe word when we get on a discussion with somebody. I've said no a number of times to coaches who I have later on turned around and worked with because I was timid. I was shy. I was scared. Am I going to invest? What's going to happen? No, no, not now. No, I can't do that. No, thanks. Even if I financially could, I was like, no, no, thanks. And then it eventually ended up into a yes. So you cannot take a no personally. It's okay to hear the word no. No, number 3, no does not mean that you are failing. It does not mean that you are failing. It just means that you are getting on an appropriate amount of sales calls. It means that you are doing exactly what you need to be doing in order to succeed. So I really want to ask you this. Can you be comfortable with no? Is this something that you can learn to be comfortable with? Because again, if you're not hearing no, you're not talking to enough people. So really ask yourself, is hearing no something that I can learn to be comfortable with? Because if you can't, you're going to struggle. and I don't like to say this, but if you cannot stand to hear no, you are significantly going to struggle in your business. You really, really are. And I don't say that lightly, but no is something that you're going to hear. And if you're not hearing it, you're not talking to enough people. If sales are super, 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 super easy, super smooth, like every call you get on, they're like, yes, let's do it. You're not talking to enough people. You're just not. Hate to say it. But no is a part of business. But I really want to make sure that hearing no isn't keeping you from actually doing the things that you need to do, like filling your calendar with clients. And if you don't know how to do that, check out Fill Your Calendar with Clients. Link is in the comment section below. I'm going to teach you exactly what you need to do in order to make sure that you get clients on a consistent basis. The actual steps you need to take to get the clients. You're also going to get my sales script. But no is a part of business, and it's not a bad part. It just means that you're working towards yes. Remember, 25 to 30% is a good close rate. If you're closing 75, 80%, not having enough calls or DMs or conversations. So let's recap. Number one, you have to learn to be good at sales. It's not something that's going to come natural. So don't give up just because it's hard. It is hard. Sales are hard. It's just nature. If they weren't, everybody would be doing them. So you just got to learn. There's amazing sales books out there. There's amazing coaches out there who are willing to help hold your hand to make those processes easier. 2, no doesn't mean that you're not good enough. No simply means that you are having a good amount of conversations in order to make those sales happen. And number 3, no does not mean that you're failing. No does not mean that you are failing. You have to be comfortable with hearing no, because for every no that you hear, you're that much closer to a yes. That's what I've got for you. I want you to go out and take action. I want you to go out and go for no. Go for no. And I will see you guys right back here next Monday. Bye.